y'all, Dixie here. Today I want to address something that's not discussed a lot when talking about the Appalachian Trail, and that is quitting. So when I was planning my thru hike in 2015, I just wondered, if people set aside 6 months of their life to go on this amazing journey and complete a dream of theirs, then what in the world would make them want to give it up? And so I kind of looked into some of that, and post-hike I asked some of my fellow hikers and wanted to present those things to you. So that is what we will be covering today. When I looked at the statistics of people who successfully finish a thru hike, the ATC has estimated that it's 1 in 4. Now that is not necessarily an official number, because you sitting at home right now, if you've never stepped foot on the AT, you could actually go and fill out a 2,000 miler form and say, hey, I have hiked the entire Appalachian Trail, and they'll send you a patch and say, yay, congratulations, and it'll be a lie. And unfortunately, we have dishonest people in this world, so there are folks who go out there and skip sections and claim to be thru hikers, but are, actually cheaters. But we won't go into that anymore today. So I actually think that the success rate is lower than 1 in 4. And why is that? I would hazard a guess that the #1 reason for people quitting the Appalachian Trail is injury. Now, some of them, of course, might not be preventable, but others are. And a lot of times folks will start out of the gate just, real strong and really too fast. So it takes a while to, get your body accustomed to waking up and hiking every day. So you have to listen to your body. And people freak out and go, oh my God, I have 2,189 miles to do in a matter of 6 months, and how am I ever gonna get all this done? And I have to do 15 miles per day, I averaged it, and blah, blah. Just stop and calm down. You have to listen to your body. Otherwise, you're not gonna do much of the trail at all, because you're gonna end up hurt and going home. If you're tired, stop. If you're hurting, stop. If you do get an injury that isn't forcing you to get off of trail immediately, then go to a town and relax for a while. Kick your feet up, take a break, take a few zeros, okay? So I started March 29th and I ended October 19th. That's a little over 6 months. I took at least 30 zeros, at least. I'm not even sure of the number, but I know it was more than that. So if I can do it without, getting seasoned or prepared for the AT, then you can do it too. You just have to start slow and listen to your body. Injury can also be due to poor planning. So if you haven't researched gear and you've got way too many things or things that you don't need, and you have way too much weight in your pack, I'm not saying that you can't finish without the proper gear, because what Grandma Gatewood, had very minimalistic gear. But if you've got an extremely heavy pack, I knew a guy that was out there with an 80-pound pack. He had like 3 Rambo knives, a big family picture album, and just things that he really didn't need. And he did. He ended up injured and off the trail because he had way too much weight on him and didn't have the proper gear. So you're kind of setting yourself up for failure. So you definitely do want to, research and try to take care of yourself and have your pack as light as you can. You don't necessarily have to be an ultra lighter, but poor planning can be attributed to issues with injury, also finances. A lot of my fellow thru hikers would probably agree that a big reason folks get off trail is due to money. So either they had a really good time and partied hard and spent too much at the beginning, or they just had poor budgeting, because it's real easy to get in this mindset of like, I'm in the woods and I'm in nature and I'm not part of that world anymore. But your bank account kind of matters, so that's something that you definitely have to stay in touch with. And after the first few weeks, evaluate how much money you have budgeted and how much you have left, and it's real important to keep track of those things. Also, from the beginning, you've got to have realistic planning. So sitting in your nice, comfortable, warm, dry house, you might say, oh, I don't ever need to stay in town, I'll just sleep near the town in my tent, go in and do some things and get back out. Well, your exhausted, broken, spirited, soggy, rain-stricken self is going to think a little bit differently, and you're going to want to go into town and be able to relax sometimes and have some comforts of society. So make sure you do plan for that. And then also emergencies. So my dog got sick and passed away while I was on trail, and I rushed home to try to see her, and if I hadn't planned for that emergency, that could have taken me off trail in itself, just because of the trip home and everything might have not allowed me to have enough money to finish. So just have realistic expectations in what you need to save, and then plan for emergencies. Next, some people quit because of loneliness or boredom. So let's have real talk for a minute. If you're planning to do a thru hike of the Appalachian Trail, you need to sit down with yourself and really be honest with yourself and say, what am I doing this for? So if you read the book Appalachian Trials, like I did before I started my thru hike, he mentions that you should really make a list of why you want to complete the Appalachian Trail and keep that with you, whether on your phone or written on a piece of paper or whatever. That way you can refer to it if you end up having a really bad day or you're contemplating quitting. So just wanted to share with y'all some of the things that I put on my list before I started. So I want to hike the Appalachian Trail because I need some time to think about my future. It will be an adventure of a lifetime. I've never been on an overnight backpacking trip before. It will be a cool story to tell my grandkids. I want to experience life to the fullest, to build my confidence, to appreciate the smaller things in life, and because I have grit. So, of the things that I wanted to accomplish from my thru hike, I can definitely say I did. I did succeed in accomplishing those things. So, and I only had to pull my list out one time, and I believe that was in the White Mountains. So, which is a place that folks will typically quit because it gets really tough there. So there will be times that you will get lonely, but you have to remember, if you're out there for yourself, then you're not out there to be with other people. Likely you will be around other people and you will have the opportunity to make friends and not be lonely if you choose, but there may be times that it will be lonely, and you need to have yourself a backup plan. So when I'm feeling lonely, I will write in my journal, refer to my list. I will, download a new podcast or something that will help you when you're feeling lonely. And honestly, more than anything, just remind yourself that maybe that's exactly what you need. You need to be uncomfortable a little bit and think and have some time to process stuff that's in your mind, because usually the things you should be thinking about are the ones that you don't want to think about, and those are the things that are going to come to your mind when you're alone, by yourself in the woods for a while. So oftentimes I caught myself, kind of feeling like bored, like, okay, I'm waking up, going hiking again, blah, blah, same thing. And I would notice that I was like staring at the ground, just kind of in this trance. So I would encourage y'all, while you're out there, to take in the beauty of the scenery around you, no matter what the weather or what the day looks like, what the trail looks like. Maybe you're not seeing any magnificent views that day, but just take time to look around at the trees and notice the little critters and things like that. And I always said, keep your head up, not just keep in good spirits, but actually keep your head up and look around and take in the views around you. Finally, I think that people tend to quit the trail due to unreal expectations or lack of determination. So it's not a 6-month camping trip. It's not a stroll in the park. It is a difficult trail to complete. But if you are determined and given you don't have any, unforeseeable disasters or horrible things happen, you can do it. You can complete the AT and you can be a thru hiker. But if you do lack determination, or if you're thinking that it's going to be super easy, you're in for a surprise. Now, if you're thinking at any point that you want to quit your thru hike, go into a town, take a few days off, kick your feet up, call your mom, call your best friend, get on Facebook and talk to people, whatever you need to do to kind of calm down and think things over. And then try to rekindle that desire for why you wanted to thru hike in the first place. And if you realize that is gone, you hear people say all the time, don't be a quitter, don't start something unless you're going to finish it. Well, that's the biggest load of bull honky. There is some truth in it, but life's too short to be miserable. So if you get out there, on this 6-month journey and it's not what you thought it was gonna be, and you're like, this is not for me, then if you've taken the time and you've really realized that, then there's no shame in admitting that to yourself and going home. But just don't be hasty with that. I know a lot of people who just got off the trail and went home pouting and cut it short and kind of regretted that. So definitely take some time to think it over before you come to a quick decision like that. Anyway, like I say, do not quit on a bad day. You're allowed to quit, but just don't let it be in a fit of rage on a bad day. And before I go, I would like to say thank you to those of you who have noticed my little PCT wish list in the show more below. I've been getting some of those items in, and I can't tell y'all how much I appreciate your support. And I couldn't be thru hiking the PCT this year if it wasn't for all of you viewers and patrons and the folks helping me with the wish list. And if y'all would like to find out ways to support me, just click show more below, and there's even the free way of shopping through the Amazon affiliate link below. So thank y'all so much, and I hope you found this helpful today, and we will see y'all next time. Okay, so I am here at Amicalola State Park, and there's this nice little compartment overhead, so that's the opening, where you can put like a headlamp